Welcome back. You are with Closing Bell, and it's been quite a week for the markets. Right now, let's move on to some corporate stories. Vodafone Idea's 25,000 crore rupees rights issue opens out on the 10th of April. Ahead of it, Lata Venkatesh and Reema Tendulkar caught up with Balesh Sharma, CEO, and Akshaya Mundra, CFO of the company. Take a look at what they had to say about business and the money that Vodafone Idea is looking to raise.
We are a very new company. We've been, since the time we created the company, interacting with analysts, with journalists, but also very importantly with investors, existing and prospective. We met them in November, December. We met them again after the quarterly results, so about last month. Great interest. People understand the strengths of the company, the outlook on the market, and very clearly our strategy, and support that. So we have good interest from the investors for sure.
Would you agree, Akshaya? I mean, especially because Axiata, there was a buzz that they want to not subscribe.
So let me put it this way, that we met investors both who were existing shareholders and some of them who are not shareholders, but they've also been meeting us, and we've seen a keen interest from both categories of investors, both existing shareholders and new investors. So there's a strong interest, as Balesh was saying, and we met a number of investors in 2 rounds of roadshows. So very, very strong interest.
Balesh, what was the feedback from the shareholders on the pricing at 12.5 rupees per share? Because 14 months ago, in February of 2018, when you raised money, it was at 82.5 rupees. In 2014, it was a price of 134 rupees per share. So shareholders have lost money in the company. So what was the feedback from them on the pricing?
So very clearly, well, we haven't gone asking investors or shareholders' opinion on price per se. However, the price has been calculated to keep it attractive for the shareholders, so as to give them an opportunity. As also in the industry and the past history of rights issue. Remember, this is the largest rights issue the country has seen.
Yes.
With the equity that we are raising versus the existing capital is again one of the portions. And therefore, the price that we see has to be seen versus the TERP and not versus the market price, because the market price anyway gets diluted by whatever discount you do to come to the TERP. Practice on rights issues.
Okay.
No, I take your point that, you all have put your might behind it. The promoters are bringing in $2.5 billion, no two ways about it. Now, there is a chance that your stake is going above 75 and you have to therefore take SEBI permission. Has that come?
So firstly, I would not agree that there's a chance that it would go above 75%. But because, as you mentioned earlier, that there was no certainty whether Axiata would participate or not, so I think as a precautionary measure, it was right for us to seek that permission. We had taken that permission from SEBI, and that permission has been received.
Okay. But you're confident that it will not come down to the promoters having to subscribe to the unsubscribed portion?
I'm very confident.
Okay, great. With this fundraising and Balesh, with the Indus fundraising coming through, once the Indus stake sale happens, your debt, which is currently at 1.14 lakh crore, will roughly come down to 84,000 crore rupees. That's still a very high number. What is the roadmap to bringing it down?
Reema, our debt is not very high. Our EBITDA is low.
Okay.
For the size of operations that we are running, the debt is pretty much adequate. And remember that 80% of our debt is actually the outstanding to the government for deferred spectrum payment. So the external debt is only about 20%. So that is okay, and that is not the concern area for anybody. The concern is the EBITDA. We have clear plans to get back on that. Very clearly, we have a positive outlook on the market. It's an under-penetrated market even today. 1.3 billion people, but we got at least about 500 million who haven't got their first SIM cards. So there's an opportunity to grow the category. Then within the billion active SIM cards that we've got, about half don't use data in any way, shape or form. Therefore, we call it a glass half full of a growing glass, because you can grow the category and get more people in. You can grow from within the category and get people to use more data, and then use unlimited data. Now again, very confident of the fact that, with the fact that 46% of the non-users, the 2G users therefore, are sitting with one of my 2 brands, which means they are my existing customers. So if I have 4G coverage and 4G capacity, therefore customer experience, I keep my customers with me as they go up the data curve, and therefore opportunity to grow the revenues. It's a clear win-win. How are we going to do that? Very clear strategy of saying, first of all, I have this opportunity of 2 different networks, stitch them together, get the strengths of the 2 into becoming one. I am very well provided on spectrum. on infrastructure, on physical presence in ground, fiber, whichever way you look at it, distribution networks, people, two strong set of people, two strong networks coming together. The number 2 and number 3 in the market are coming together. The parentage of the Aditya Birla Group and the Vodafone Group. So great set of strengths, great outlook on the market. We need to stitch it up very quickly, and we need to get great partners in, working on each of these. Of course, the last thing is get the funding in, which is why we are here today.
Okay.
So,
and if I may just
clear strategy to grow that.
If I may just add on the question of debt, actually, if you look at, and as you said, it will come down to about 840 billion rupees. That would actually mean that our net debt would actually become less than the DOT debt itself. So really speaking, with this additional funding coming in, theoretically it is wiping off all the external debt that we have. Also, what is important is that if you look at from the capital structure of the company, post these two monetizations, capital and Indus monetization happening, we would actually have a debt equity of about 1:1, which is a very healthy structure. So I think we keep reiterating this, that the problem right now is an EBITDA, which is an industry issue, and not really the size of the debt.
No, taking away from that, I mean, I congratulate you that, you have brought the equity to the level of the debt. That's not being disputed. But still, just to drive home the point, at an annualized EBITDA of what, if I go by the third quarter numbers, it will be 4,500 crore. That still makes your debt at 84,000 crores, 13, 14, 15 times EBITDA. So how does that get bridged? What will be the interest outgo?
So
per year or per
roughly
quarter?
With the debt of about 114,000 crores, our interest charge on P&L is about 10,000 crores. Most of that interest is included in the DOT installment. So the DOT installment, a large component of that is interest, and the principal payment is actually quite back-ended as far as DOT installments are concerned.
Okay, let me come on the point of improving the EBITDA.
Yeah.
So currently annualized, it's about 4,500 crore rupees. You had guided for a peak OPEX synergies of 8,400 crore. How much of that has already come through and is in the EBITDA that we can see in the, in your P&L, and how much will get added to that 4,500 crore? And plus, once the interconnect charges become zero, your EBITDA again gets hit. So, say by FY21, what do you foresee your EBITDA at?
So I will not be able to give you any EBITDA guidance, but let's talk about it qualitatively. You're right that our annualized EBITDA based on Q3 is in the ballpark of 4,500 to 5,000 crores. Now, if you take, we have given guidance for cost synergies in the past, whatever that figure is. So one is those cost synergies will come. We have reported in our quarterly results that the synergies realized were on an annualized basis close to about 3,000 crores. So whatever is the balance synergies, this continue to remain an opportunity and they will be realized.
All right, so fundraising, rights issues, market moves, all of that is behind us. It is Friday. So let's go across to Mangalam for Closing Bell Recommends.
Well, I have a really cool lineup of movies and shows you can watch this weekend. To start with, a movie that's getting rave reviews and likely to be a cult film a few years from now. It's called No Fathers in Kashmir. It stars Soni Razdan, who we know well as Alia's mother. We have Zara Webb. It's a sensitive, beautiful portrayal of the strife in Kashmir. It's directed by Ashwin Kumar, who is best handled to talk about this issue. Why is he best handled? Well, because he is India's only Oscar-nominated short film director. If you haven't seen The Little Terrorist, I would recommend go on to YouTube right now, catch that 15-minute wonder. Beautiful film. Talking about terrorists, let's address another film we have that releases today. It's called Romeo Akbar Walter. Raw is what the first letters of each of the words stand out, come out to be. It's a spy thriller in theaters today. Film inspired by true events during the India-Pak war in 1971. Stars John Abraham, Moni Roy, Jackie Shroff, Sikandar Kher. Reviews not very exciting, not very inspiring, but go if you must. John Abraham has really found his space in these films. But now on to the one that I'm most excited about. Shazam is the movie, not the phone app that I'm talking about. It's the erstwhile Captain Marvel from the DC's extended universe, who had to undergo a revamp because Marvel took away Captain Marvel, as we know it, Brie Larson. They say it's the best DC EU movie since Wonder Woman, the funniest ever. Why not? It's a 14-year-old foster kid who turns into a superhero, a teenager turning into an adult superhero. You know how mad it can be. Ratings, very good ratings. IMDb has given it 8.1, and Rotten Tomatoes usually Shifty with the ratings has given it 93%. So that's the 3 movies that you can catch this weekend. If you're looking for some live music, Campfire Cookout. If you're around Mumbai, go to Karjat Khopoli. Campfire Cookout, you get a whole host of bands. Kabir Cafe is headlining it. It's at Sabarwal Farms, Khopoli, one of the best outdoor locations that you have. There's a bonfire and live music in the night along with a water body by the side. The best summer vacation plan that you can have. This happens tomorrow and day after. Go on to Book My Show and get your tickets for that. And while you're there, check Hari Haran and Roop Kumar Rathore as well, the legends of melody. They're performing on April 6th at Dublin Square, Phoenix Market City. This venue is now turned out to be one of those most coveted venues for live acts, and well, who better than Hari Haran and Roop Kumar Rathore to make your weekend a lot more melodious. If you're not in Mumbai, if you're in Delhi, here's a music gig. Actually, not a gig, it is a masterclass in guitar with the master himself, Sushmit Sen. Sushmit Sen is the former lead guitarist of Indian Ocean, the one who you'd associate with the beautiful solos that there are on Kandisa and all the other Indian Ocean songs, happening on April 6th and 7th. 3 p.m. at the Excelsior American School. Tickets on insider.in. And while you're in Delhi, also catch Mughal-e-Azam. This Broadway-style magnum opus comes to NCR yet again. Begins on April 6th onwards. So you can log on to Book My Show, get those tickets for Mughal-e-Azam as well. If you're not doing any of that, if you're watching TV or at home, or if you're streaming something, do not miss Tripling Season 2. TVS Tripling Season 1 was all about a couple of siblings bonding on a road trip. Now they've come out with a Season 2. It's a beautiful, beautiful show. I've seen Season 1. Cannot wait to watch Season 2 that starts streaming tomorrow. So those are all the things that you can do this weekend. A handful of concerts, a couple of movies, and if nothing, stream TVS Tripling Season 2 on your computers.